Halfway into the 2022 NBA season, emerging talks about the most luxurious regular season award any superstar can win, the Most Valuable Player award. As of now, it's 90% safe to say the future winner, when announced in the coming months this season, won't be their first MVP trophy. How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. Ever since week 1, many love to talk about the MVP race, lots of indications and factors, being the best player on the best regular season team, having the #1 seed. If that superstar is considered a top 5 player in the game, they'll more than likely win the award. The weeks for the Kia race released by NBA.com, Giannis, Steph, and KD after opening week. Second week, November 5th, it's Durant 1, Steph, followed by Jimmy Butler. Then it's Durant, Curry, and Jokic. Week 4, November 17th, Golden State dominated Brooklyn, combined with Curry's hot start. Looked like Steph was running away with it, followed by KD and Jokic, with DeMar DeRozan 4 due to the success of the Bulls. November 26th, Golden State continued dominating. Curry 1, Durant 2, Jokic 3. Curry and Durant earned the Player of the Month award. Steph, KD, and Giannis on December 3rd. It seemed like Curry continued to run away with the award, given Klay Thompson wasn't back. The Dubs on top of the standings. Milwaukee and Giannis missed a bunch of games. Curry, Durant, Giannis the same 3. Then Durant, Steph, and Jokic. KD had that 51-point performance, while teammate Harden continued to struggle. Curry started to cool off a bit, but after KD won the protocols, Steph reclaimed the top spot. The Greek Freak all of a sudden jumped over Curry and Durant. Steph's shooting struggles continued. Durant came back after Christmas but lost 3 straight. First week of January, LeBron continued with his 30-point performances, entered top 10, but Laker team record still around 500. Giannis then went on to roll to dominate Brooklyn. Joel Embiid started to play well. Curry remained ice cold, dropped all the way down to 5. Most recent, Giannis destroyed Golden State, while Jokic second place, couple games above 500, but having a weak supporting cast. Denver, one of the worst teams talent-wise without Jokic, yet still a better record than the Lakers. Now that KD hurt his knee, likely missed some time, that will hurt his chances. Embiid getting hot, carrying Philly. DeRozan still balling for the Bulls. John Morant also making noise. CP3 in the conversation. Phoenix the best record in the league. Rudy Gobert as well. Based on Basketball Reference Tracker, a more statistical way of measuring each star based on using previous voting results, not opinion based. Anybody followed the race closely last season likely saw Jokic #1 many weeks, and it wasn't even close percentage wise, despite some still finding ways to make arguments for others and not acknowledging Jokic as the clear winner last season. The model came out in 2009, whereas in the 54 years before, 36 of the predictions were correct from 1956 to 2009. Measuring highly on team record, plus points, rebounds, and assists as high factors, Steve Nash ranks 4th and 7th, his 2 MVP years. Based on these metrics, given team wins and monster numbers, Wilt Chamberlain would have 8 MVP awards, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar 7, Larry Bird 5, Magic Johnson 4, and Michael Jordan just 4. Now, halfway into the season, Giannis with a decent edge over second place Jokic, third place Durant. Steph wasn't even in the NBA tracker picture till after the All-Star break last season after catching fire, while in Chris Paul's case, if Phoenix finish over 60 wins, a couple games better than the second seed. Paul might finish similar to last season but won't win it. James Harden shouldn't even be near the top 10 given plenty of struggles. LeBron can climb higher given those monster stats, but his team still 500, given Jokic far better advanced numbers on a weaker team. Very difficult for LeBron to finish above Jokic. If both the Nuggets and the Lakers finish with similar records, John Morant should be higher than Harden, and Gobert can keep climbing. My honest opinion rankings. Number 10, I go with Rudy Gobert, falling off a bit, but given Utah's success, his regular season defense single-handedly impacts the game. Team lost 4 straight without him. Team ranked 28 in net ratings and dead last in defensive rating during the 4-game split. A 15 and 15 guy in his prime, clearly showing his worth. Advanced numbers, first in win shares, and tied with Jokic, second in win shares per 48. Utah having one of the best records with Rudy, although he's nowhere close to a top 10 player. Gobert will likely finish top 2 for DPOY and might get his 4th. Number 9, LeBron James. Of course, some believe he deserves to be higher, given the historic accomplishments and continuous body of work. Year 19, second in scoring, highest since the 2010 season. If the Lakers were a 5th seed, James would be right up there in the top 5, but the 500 record and the team he chose to start the season, Lakers looking like a franchise scrambling for pieces in desperation mode come the deadline. Of course, a healthy healthy, James will always be in the MVP conversation, but what good are his high numbers if the Lakers keep losing to mediocre teams? The 2022 Lakers looking very similar to the 2013 team despite having an easy start to the schedule, lacks chemistry, the heavy blame for LeBron not being higher on this list, struggling Russell Westbrook lowlights, only so much pain Laker fans can handle. If Anthony Davis wasn't hurt and the team's 10 games above 500, LeBron could average 24 points instead of 29, would be way higher on the MVP list, but the lack of regular season team success, despite having one of the easiest strength in schedules, very high numbers, being on the most disappointing team in the league right now, won't cut it, especially with other superstars just as impressive stat lines, winning way more games. Number 8, best record in the league halfway through the year, Chris Paul, decent numbers of 14 and 10 and 2 steals. Whether CP3 wins the championship with Phoenix or not, his jersey deserves to be retired given his leadership and how the team changed overnight with his presence. If this was 2019, many would have believed Booker would have left Phoenix, but Paul making all his guys better like always, one of the best chemistries, similar to a Steve Nash type impact for Phoenix in the mid-2000s, changing the culture. Paul won't win the MVP due to his low stats, but more deserving as a top 10 candidate. Number 7, DeMar DeRozan, absolutely ballin', the number 1 seed in the East, receiving the most praise of his career. DeMar at least deserves a spot as an all-star starter, back-to-back game winners within the 24-hour span, legendary moments. DeRozan isn't a superstar like Giannis and the Durants of the world, but continues to add on for a Hall of Fame caliber resume, given his level of play at age 32, a mid-range mastery. Although he's been disappointing in past playoffs, the amazing regular season start with Chi-Town shouldn't be taken for granted. Number 6, John Morant, electrifying on all cylinders, making New Orleans regret not taking him number 1. Memphis, one of the hottest team, young legs full of energy, looking like a franchise superstar. Year 3, 22 years old, putting up nearly 25, 6 and 7, most athletic point guard today, making the case as a top 10 player, reminding us of a young Derrick Rose, mesmerizing plays after another, the Grizz no longer getting slept on. If Ja was playing in a big market like the Knicks, many biased fans would consider him a top 5 player in the game, hungry and entertaining, already having a little bit of playoff experience under his belt. If Memphis wins between 55 to 60 games, Morant can very well finish in the top 3 for Most Valuable Player award. Sky's the limit. Number 5, Kevin Durant. Playing over 37 minutes a game, his numbers always terrific, great efficiency, but with much optimism about Kyrie Irving potentially playing home games and Harden trying to get out of his slump. 2 other superstars will limit KD's chances. After a couple weeks will likely drop out of the race due to being hurt for likely 4 to 6 weeks, a huge blow to the Nets. James Harden will have a heavy load. Won't be shocking to see the Nets drop out of the top 4 seed. Number 4, Joel Embiid. Carrying Philly on his back is an absolute travesty. Ben No-Show Simmons continues to prove his weak attitude. Embiid single-handedly carrying this team. Without a secondary star, the 5th seed. Too much roster instability. Joel aggressively taking less threes and punishing smaller guys inside. Last dozen games, 32 and 10 on 54% shooting, netting anywhere between 23 to 41 points each of those 12 games, going 9 and 3 in the stretch. Embiid has officially proven to be better than Anthony Davis and still very much in the debate with Jokic as the best center as long as the process can stay healthy. If Embiid somehow leads Philly to a top 3 seed in the East, still a chance to steal the MVP award and shock the whole world. Number 3, Stephen Curry. Despite the heavy drought, struggling since owning the all-time 3-point record, his team still on pace for over 60 wins. Since MSG, Curry shot just 39% from the field, 34 from 3. Russell Westbrook-like shooting numbers at times, 42% from the field for the season, by far the lowest of his career given a full year, hurting his case individually, but because of the attention the defense gives him, allows all his teammates to flourish. Steph absolutely can bounce back and be very much in the mix to win the award if he plays the second half the same way he was last season. There's no doubt gives a strong case for winning his 3rd MVP. To secure his case, will need to shoot over 50% the next 35 games, average around 30 points, bring his overall numbers up, still a long way to go. Number 2, Nikola Jokic, having a better statistical season than his MVP himself last year when talked about as the most valuable player. Looking at this Nuggets roster, they'd be just as bad as the Pistons or Magic without their MVP center, the injuries to second option Murray and third option MPJ. No Jokic, I'm not sure if this Nuggets team win even 20 games. Once again under the radar, having the highest PER in the season. Insane efficient stats, second in rebounds, team 1-4 without him, not being flashy, just simply fundamentally sound, doesn't have the half-court threes like Steph Curry or the shake and base like Durant or the monster dunks like Giannis, doesn't have a 50-point standout signature performance, but just a consistent all-time efficient season. It'd be almost a miracle if the Nuggets can avoid a play-in game due to Jokic's success. Also an improved defensive player. Individually, he's having better numbers overall than Durant and Steph, playing with guys on his team 2 years ago who some of you never heard of. Will Barton, Eric Gordon, and Monte Morris the next options. There's not more than 2 other players if you replace Jokic on the Nuggets that would lead this team to over 500 currently. Given the lack of media coverage and slept on, what Jokic been doing more impressive than Russell Westbrook's 2017 NBA season. Jokic should finish top 3 if he finishes between a 5th to 6th seed, but likely not top 5 given all the better teams in the West with better supporting cast. But if the Nuggets fall to the play-in game due to a poor record, those chances won't help him. Number 1, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Without question, voter fatigue should not be an excuse. 27 years old, entering the prime of his career after somewhat of a slow start, already missed 9 games after missing 5 straight to protocol since Christmas. Insane numbers of 33 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists on 58% shooting, an all-time high PER, almost the same as Jokic. A Christmas Day comeback, a 36-point effort versus Boston, dominated Brooklyn, destroyed Golden State with a 30-point triple-double in less than 30 minutes. Similar numbers to his first MVP 2019 season, best two-way player in the game despite his team still the 4 seed, only 2 games out of the first spot. Combined with Middleton missing a dozen games, Holiday also missed 12, both borderline all-stars. Brook Lopez missed the next 44 games of the season and counting after season opener. Dante DiVincenzo missed 40 games. Bobby Portis and Grayson Allen, the terrific role players in every advanced metric. Giannis way above Durant, the Currys, the LeBrons, but due to the media's infatuation of LeBron and Steph, international stars Giannis, just like Jokic, still barely gets mentioned. Mainstream media rather focus on 2 hours talking about a Lakers-Kings game rather than Giannis dominating Golden State. There's no denying Giannis on his way to all-time great status. Given his dominance, no current NBA player is comparable to him. The most recent retired great compared to Giannis, young Shaquille O'Neal. Just 2 years ago, there were heavy debates about Giannis or Anthony Davis as the best power forward. Now that question is just offensive to Giannis. Given the injuries and time missed to some of the key starters, when Milwaukee's at full strength, a powerful second half run foreseeable, not having a super team, the MVP momentum appears to be shifting towards Giannis' direction. As much of the media wants to avoid talking about his greatness, super consistent on both ends every night, I see Giannis winning the 2022 MVP in similar fashion to 2012 LeBron. Not the craziest MVP season, but efficient, a monster on both ends, combined with a very good record. Based on team success, great stats, and narrative, Curry's Warriors might finish with a better record compared to the other legit candidates. That alone would get him some first place votes, but Giannis has been clearly the better regular season player, one of the most consistent, no big flaws that significantly hurt his chances, like Curry's recent poor shooting, Jokic's weak supporting cast leading to a subpar record, LeBron's poor Lakers record, while Ja Morant, DeRozan, and Embiid not near Giannis' level so far. Thank you so much for watching this video. Who do you guys think will win the 2022 MVP? Let me know in the comments below. I love all of you. See you next time.